Eric here with Team Eccentric, bringing you guys another dual commentary video. It's me on the right playing my Pure Thunder Dragons, Connor on the left playing his Danger ORCUST. This matchup happened not too long ago, and it was kind of a weird matchup. You know, it was something that I just kind of wanted to put up. But Connor decides to go first, so he sets one and then sets two back row and then passes. He clearly bricked, so I set two and I also bricked. So this is going to be kind of a slower game here. So I believe I passed to Connor, and he reveals Danger Nessie. So we get the dice, and Connor shuffles up his hand, and I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I roll, and it is the 6, and he discards Danger Nessie, and Nessie obviously gets him a search, so he searches for Tsuchinoko. Now, just the fact that Dangers are able to replace themselves, and Tsuchinoko, he activates. The fact that Dangers, especially the three main ones, are able to replace themselves, is just kind of ridiculous. So he discards the ORCUST Nightmare and special summon Tsuchinoko, and I activate Torrential, figuring I could, I waited to clear his board. I just wanted to, get everything off his board, and then I call by the grave his, the ORCUST Harp Horror, figuring I could stop the stuff in his grave, because that's mainly how ORCUSTs work, is getting stuff into the graveyard to try and fuel their plays. But then he still had the ORCUST Nightmare, and he normal summons the Simple Skeleton, and then he banishes the ORCUST Nightmare to send Harp Horror to his grave. He banishes Harp Horror from his grave to special summon another ORCUST from his deck. And all I started with was Called by the Grave and Torrential. But now he special summons the other ORCUST Nightmare, and then you link 2 into the Galatea effect. I just scoop it up. I figure that this matchup was not going my favor. I didn't draw any monsters that I could summon. It was just a really bad, opening hand for me. We side, and the thing about my Pure Thunder Dragons is that they do play kind of a considerable spell and trap lineup, which I think I'll probably end up cutting down, maybe throwing in a few other Thunder monsters just to ensure that I can get more things on the field. Because the deck isn't really too much of a combo deck. It's one of those decks where, you do a few combos, but, mainly you're just trying to set up your Colossuses and kind of just overwhelm your opponent. So I discard Thunder Dragon and add another copy of Thunder Dragon, figuring I can probably do something with this. I banish Thunder Dragon for the Black Dragon. I tribute the Black Dragon and normal summon the other Thunder Dragon, and then obviously I get the search for the White Dragon, and then I go into Colossus because I discarded a Thunder. I set 2. He tried to Ash me, and I activated Call by the Grave. So basically, I got all of the plays that I wanted, but still wasn't the best turn 1 ever. There are definitely stronger turn 1s. He normal summons his Phantom Sky Blaster, which gives him a token. Links the token off into Link Spider. But yeah, I know you guys see a lot of things that happen just there. Activates Foolish Burial. Obviously, attempting to send something so that he can fuel more plays and extend his board. He sends the Harp Horror because, that's clearly the best ORCUST in this particular scenario, I think. So, that's definitely the smartest thing to send. He banishes so he banishes the Harp Horror, which allows him to special summon an ORCUST monster from his deck, except another copy of itself, so he special summons ORCUST Nightmare, activate Torrential Tribute, and then I banish Thunder Dragon to protect my Colossus. And then I ask to see his grave, and I call by the grave the ORCUST Nightmare, figuring that I can basically end his plays there. Maybe I could, stop him from extending anymore. Keep him from extending any further. But now it's my turn. My hand isn't so great. But so I banish the Black Dragon for the White Dragon. I go battle, and then I go in with Colossus and the White Dragon, figuring I could probably at least get some damage on board. And then thinking about ways that I could like make plays and do things in the most optimal way. But then I tribute the White Dragon for my Thunder Dragon Dark, and then I link into my my Summer Summoner, and then I activate Dark to add my Hawk. So then I discard Hawk, attempt to special summon Dark, and then I tribute the Dark for... So I go, basically I tried to set up double Colossus here. Thinking that, like, you know, maybe like I could put one Colossus in defense position, protect it, and then one Colossus attack position, just keep beating it. So basically it was Thunder Dragon beat down essentially, but that's game two. Game two, like, it was, you know, these games are kind of quick only because, you know, the moment I set up my board, like, it can get kind of oppressive against Connor's deck, whereas when he starts going off of combos, you know, you know, he just can do so many different things and link into so many different monsters and just kind of like overwhelm me with advantage. So it's one of those matchups where it's like it really depends on who draws the better hand and who does, and you know, who plays, you know, who plays kind of like turns ahead and tries to play a little bit smarter. But and that being noted, you know, Thunder Dragons are kind of not, pure Thunder Dragon especially in my opinion is not really the best deck right now, only because, yeah, you know, you're playing 3 of all of your Thunder Dragon monsters, and you know sometimes you can draw multiples, and those can be bricks. But on top of that, obviously you need to have ways to summon your Thunder Dragons, and sometimes you can end up not drawing. You know, you don't draw Hawk or you don't draw Dark or something like that. You end up like just not really having too many plays. And the deck is not so combo oriented, but it's just one of those. It's just one of those decks where you really have to have the right setup. But you know, I did change the deck from Danger Thunder Dragon only because you know, with Phantom Skyblaster being at 1, I figured that's not the best way, and I was probably going to build Danger ORCUST. But Connor normal summons Neospace Connector, allowing him to special summon Aqua Dolphin, and then he attempts Aqua Dolphin's effect. But so I have to show him my hand. None of the monsters are lower than any of the monsters on his field, so he takes 500 damage and doesn't discard anything, and then he links 2. Goes into Nightmare Cerberus, links 1, goes into Mermaid, effect of Mermaid. Discards a Fogblade, which is actually pretty decent because Fogblade allows him to recur one of his Phantom Knights, special summons ORCUST Nightmare, links 2 into Galatea, and then he banishes ORCUST Nightmare to send Harp Horror to the graveyard, banishes Harp Horror to special summon 1 from his deck, special summons the Simple Skeleton, and then he links 3 into the Rusty Bardiche. And then he uses Bardiche effect, pays the cost, sends the Phantom Knight, and then sets the Fogblade, which is already really, really strong. He already basically set up essentially a searchable Fiendish Chain and a card that allows him to recur. Then he banishes to special summon the Galatea. And then he sets Orchestrated Babel, using Galatea's effect. Figuring the Orchestrated Babel allows him to turn his ORCUST monsters' effects in the graveyard to quick effects. And actually, I think it turns all ORCUST monsters' effects, even the ones on the field, into quick effects, which is pretty ridiculous. But you know, that's something that, like, I mean, Orchestrated Babel is just such a good card. The ORCUST deck, honestly, the ORCUST engine is just so good. It's just so adaptable. So he activates ORCUST Einstance, and he banishes the Phantom Knight from his grave, which allows him to add the other Phantom Knight, and then he specials it because he controls a Bardiche. Then he links again, and this time he goes into Lungirsu. So you can see the advantage that that ORCUST can get off of, you know, just doing what the deck does. So now it's my turn. I normal summon the Aloof Lupine, banishing the Dark, or the Roar rather, which is actually the prime cost you want to pay. You want to normal summon it and banish the Roar so that you can banish the Thunder Dragon Matrix from your deck, because then you can like chain block your opponent. But then he uses some of his quick effects to do things. I special summon the Thunder Dragon Dark off of the Roar. And then I link 2 into the Wee Witch, and then attempt Dark's effect, and then he goes off with more things that he can do. I believe he Fogbladed my my wolf, which is why I didn't get the banish for the matrix. But either way, I added a hawk off of the dark. Activate hawk. Oh no, I activate Thunder Dragon rather. So I add the other copy of Thunder Dragon and then I activate hawk. So I special summon dark. Figuring I can get more thunders into my graveyard to protect Colossus more and, you know, just kind of facilitate more of my plays. It's kind of how pure Thunder Dragon plays. You're just trying to, like, you know, just get Colossus on the board and then just, like, set up so that you can just oppressively beat down your opponent. So I, you know, fusion summon the Colossus by sending the Roar to Grave. Obviously, it doesn't get its effect because it already did earlier in the turn, and then after that, he manages to send my my Colossus to the graveyard because it was linked. I believe that's the Longyear's effect, I think, if I'm not mistaken. It's one of those situations where, like, Colossus can only prevent itself from being destroyed, so, like, this is not the best matchup for me. But then I banished special summon the Dark Dragon, thinking that maybe I could, you know, I could probably, like, at least put more bodies on the board so I don't get completely fucking OTK'd here. But, like, that's, you know, it's a tough matchup for me, again, given he has all the advantage that he currently has, because there's just so much on his board. I was going to go into battle phase, but then I realized that my Wee Witch actually increases his monsters. I forgot that all of the ORCUST things are darks. Not the best there, but, you know, there's no other Link monster I really could have gone into other than, like, Land Fornicus, and I don't play that, so that's the thing. I was thinking of maybe even crashing the Wee Witch so that I can get back a play, but I decide not to, only because I need more bodies on the board, and I figure that if he's gonna crash my Wee Witch, he's gonna get me something back anyway. But then he attacks over my Black Dragon, and then I use attempt to use Black Dragon's effect, and then he crashes over my Wee Witch. And he ashed my dragon, so basically, like, I get nothing back. Yeah, he even called. Oh, he activated Crescendo on my Wee Witch, so that's literally just taking away all of the advantage I could have at least gotten off of my monsters being destroyed. He ashed my dragon and crescendoed my Wee Witch add back attempt. It's just like, you know, he basically just destroyed my resources. I normal summon Battery Man Solar attempting the effect, and then he attempts the effect to send ORCUST Nightmare to the grave. But then I send Hawk. And then I activate Roar to add back the Hawk. Then he does more quick effect things, and I add back the Hawk. Orchestrated Babble is just so crazy. So I activate Hawk effect to attempt to special summon something, thinking maybe I could get at least a play here. I special summon the Dark, and then I get the token off of Battery Man Solar. Thing is I can't go into my other Summer Summoner, because if I do, he's just going to send it to the graveyard, or send whatever I link to it to the graveyard. So then I just go into Colossus, add Duo, and then I banish Colossus and then banish Thunder Dragon from my hand to summon Titan, thinking I can pop some stuff. Then I discard the Thunder Dragon Matrix and then attempt Titan effect. He didn't have a response, so my guy doesn't miss timing. Or he actually, is that a response? I believe that might be a response. Yeah, so he responded, and then because of... no, he didn't. Not exactly sure what happened there. Maybe he... Well, all I know is that I used those effects to pop his Orchestrated Babble to keep him from getting quick effects. Then I banished the special summon the Duo. And then I attempt to swing in with Titan as increased by 500. So I swing in over the Galatea, but it stays on the board. And then I swing in with Thunder Dragon Duo on the Bardiche. And then the effect of Duo. So I banish a card from my graveyard, and then I can add a Thunder Monster from my deck to my hand. So I had the Matrix, thinking I can at least set up some kind of a disruption for next turn. So I link, and I go into the Summer Summoner, and then I go into the Colossus. Again, not really having the best luck with my hands, you know, but I mean, I'm trying to play through, trying to see if I could, you know, do something, but you know, there's just I'm just so limited in my plays without playing the rest of, you know, the dangers and all that. But then I go into Nightmare Phoenix and I discard to try and pop one of his face downs. Then it's his turn. I figured that would help because then my Thunder Dragon isn't linked, so he can't send it off of Lingirsu. But then he banished Crescendo, I believe, to add. He reveals Danger Nessie. There's just so many things going on in this game that like it makes it difficult for me to really come back or make any kind of like power plays, because there's just so many things that he can do that just prevents me from being able to you know, just establish my boards. I mean, you know, my Thunder Dragons, generally speaking, I want them in the main monster zone so that I can you know, you know, I can summon multiples of them and overwhelm him. But like, he just can send all of my monsters that are linked to the graveyard off of Lingirsu, and the fact that Babel makes all of his cards quick effects, it just disrupted a lot of my early game plays. And I believe he uses Lingirsu to send something to the grave. So I banish the Dark, and the Dark allows me to add, because he tried attacking over my Colossus using, looks to be Bardiche, I believe. I think his Bardiche was bigger. I think he did something with ORCUST Nightmare to increase the Bardiche. Then I activate Thunder Dragon Fusion, and I shuffle these three back into the deck, summon my second Titan. So he banishes the ORCUST Nightmare to target something to increase it. And he sends the Harporu, basically increasing whatever he targeted with 400 attack, because it gains 100 attack per the level. And I believe he special summoned, banished and special summoned the Symbol Skeleton. That orchestrated Babel, man, it's ridiculous. And then because it was linked to his what looks to be the Bardiche, and then it just sends my Titan to the grave. And I try and attack. The game's pretty much over for me. I mean, there's really not much I can do here. You know, he goes into Boral Sword and then just swings in and he just does damage and kills me. So that's the game, guys. You know, Pure Thunder Dragon's really kind of a slower deck at the moment. It's not really as good as it used to be. My sides, you know, I sided in evenly matched DD Crows, Ash Blossoms, Pankrotopsis, things like that. Figuring that if I'm going to be going second, I could at least like disrupt his plays, or you know, kind of send, you know, special summon Pankratops and pop shit. But of course, you know, it doesn't ever really work in you know, you never see the sides when you want to see them. But that's you know, that's my Pure Thunder Dragon build as of right now. I'm going to be changing it up. I might go back to the Dangerous Thunder Dragon, but I really don't know, only because I feel like Danger ORCUST is kind of just the better deck at the moment, you know, with all the support that it's gotten. Once I get the Dingirsus, basically, I have the whole deck, and I intend on playing it and actually bring you guys deck profiles and content with that. But this was just kind of a fun match with my Thunder Dragons, guys. But all that aside, Eric here with Team Eccentric, and I'm signing out. Rate and subscribe, leave your comments and ideas in the comment section below, and don't hesitate to give us respectful suggestions on content you want to see. Eric on behalf of the team saying take care, and Team Eccentric out.